right, Mr. Make It Happen is here, and a bunch of other people. Just say your name, and I'm gonna shout you out really quick. Let's see, Curly Joe, I think. Who else is here? Somebody's here from Holland. Adrian Santana is here. Say your name. I can't say your name. Niv something. You got to put it in the thing because everybody's their names are always. I see the Beauty Shark Ginger, and thank you so much, Ginger, for the amazing video and compilation you put together. Ginger, I'm gonna actually email you or text you or something like that for us to meet up here for lunch one day because you've been such an amazing supporter. Let me see who's here. That's why I'm Rico from the Bronx. Something Kiggins said to say their name. What's up? All right. So anyway, from Misuga, Ontario is in the house. So I got somebody that I'm going to introduce to you. Not introduce you. What am I saying? Introduce you. It's Black History Month, and I'm going to bring somebody on who has absolutely changed my life and everybody here. And I am not. This is not an understatement. And this person, a lot of people don't know. But this person has influenced every person here. Absolutely has a part in your influence. And I'll tell you why. I'll read a little bit of his story. This person is a hero out of New York who started something called a video music channel way before anybody else did. And I don't care what artist is out there today that has been influenced or begged him. I'm talking about all those artists in the world right now who are in between the ages of, I think, 40 to 60. That they're hip hop artists. I'm talking Diddy. I'm talking Jay-Z. I'm talking everybody had begged or had somebody beg this person to highlight their music on his network. And then why did I say everybody's influence here? Because you probably, the only place to see Michael Jackson before MTV would play him would be on his network. And not only did Uncle Ralph play Michael Jackson, he would play Aha and David Bowie and everybody else in New York City. And what happened is all those artists went and would beg to be on. I begged for him to highlight me in one of his or two of his fashion shows. I put up sometimes the interviews where I'm all nervous and stuff like that. And his influence on all those artists allowed them to have public platforms to then influence other artists. So if you know a song and it is from anywhere from the 80s to today, he had some level of giving people either a platform to influence him, to influence other artists, or he actually had those artists on there. And I'm going to bring him on right now. I'm going to read his bio because I didn't even know this. And we are all going to learn from him to find out how we can be better in our lives as well as to communities and to your customers. All right. BJ, aka DJ, Ralph McDaniels, majored in communications at LaGuardia Community College in New York and New York Institute of Technology. After interning, most of my employees start off as interns. After interning at WNYC and becoming a radio engineer, he created Studio 31 Dance Party, a television show revolving around recordings of music performances when they became, all of a sudden, Video Music Box. Created Video Music Box Collection in 1983, a non-profit for the community organization dedicated to the preservation, digitization, and archival video footage from Video Music Box. Video Music Box Collection includes 20,000 hours of rare music videos and classic video content. The collection provides a visual timeline of hip-hop and its global influence in music, fashion, art, politics, and business. Ralph, known as Uncle Ralph to many, in New York City, of course, has directed and produced over 400 music videos. Listen, 400 music videos, including Wu-Tang Clan's Cream, where my product was placed in, one of the first times ever. When you see Method Man in the truck going, "The ice cream man is coming," he's wearing a FUBU hat. I stayed there the entire day to get that one hat on him. And he did Nas, It Ain't Hard to Tell, and Roxanne Shantae's Roxanne, do you remember that? And co-produced 2 feature films, Juice and Roxanne. I'm gonna bring Ralph McDaniels on. You know, it's funny. I see the numbers dropping. I'm not, and when I read these bios, and then all of a sudden, what's up, Chauncey Hamlet? Chauncey Hamlet's in the house. When I read these bios, and then people will sit there and not hear these nuggets, and I find that I do these interviews to educate myself, and so many people will tune out, and then they'll ask me later on, yo, how do I become successful? What do I do? Don't tune out when you know somebody who is potentially where you want to be in life is educating themselves right in front of you, and you're tuning out because I ain't saying the fly things like go get that bag or how to get a car. So just make sure you remember when you see people that tuning out to you, remember when you're sharing information, remember when they come over to you for advice and be like, wasn't I trying to give you advice? Remember that? Oh, and now you need help. All right? Just always remember that. Always throw it back on them. And they'd be like, oh, well, I'm not sure. I was at a different time in my life. Or my phone died. A lot of people giving me a happy birthday here, and this is my birthday gift. Thank you for saying happy birthday, everybody. This is my birthday gift. His name is Uncle Ralph. How you doing, Uncle Ralph?
I'm good, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I always tell you this: words, and most of the time it's in private. Words cannot express the reason that I'm. You may have saved my life. Be very honest, because you saw so much in me, and you allowed you would highlight my stuff. You had fat fashions, and a lot of people were paying you, and I didn't have the money. You highlighted my stuff in New York City. The music artists and the influencers, there's a lot of people behind the scenes like you who are watching right now, who are really the reason why people are successful, and they don't get to be seen, and they don't want to be seen, many of them. And because you highlighted my stuff, that's when the music artists started saying, phew, Ralph McDaniels is highlighting his stuff. Man, maybe I should get on to it. So I got so much to say about you. And I just want to come up with some quick facts because I can sit here all day and talk about all the things that you won't say about yourself. But I want a couple of questions. So how long has Video Music Box been running?
Since 1983. We started in 1983, so it's been 38 years. And you mentioned something really interesting, was that was a time when people watched music videos, like that was a thing,
Yeah. How long has MTV and BET been
out? They claim to be around the same time, but in New York, people didn't have cable, so we didn't have access to those channels. So like Yo MTV Raps came around 1987. And BET was probably doing something around the same time.
MTV didn't allow African Americans to air until what year?
Oh, wow.
1985 or 6?
Well, Run DMC probably was the first, and they were the only one in 1985, a hip hop group to have.
Michael Jackson, when was Michael Jackson's Thriller aired?
Jackson might have been around. I'm not sure what year Thriller came out, but that might have been a little bit before Run DMC. So maybe that was 83, 84 or something like that.
One thing I want people to learn from all this stuff, man. Like, you started off as an intern, and now you are arguably say you are one of the most influential men in hip hop in New York for sure. Stayed 40 years in the community, helping young brothers and sisters and to educate themselves about how they can get out of the hood and use their stuff for radio and technology and communication. Now the whole world is on technology. Right. Where did you feel the value is for them to understand the power of communication and technology?
I think that once they realized that, an important part of the show was when we had the shout out. And that was, interaction with the audience. And for those who don't know, we would play music videos and interviews, and then there would be a part where the audience would get to say their name or shout out their friend or whoever it was, their baby mother, whatever it was. and they saw the impact of it, that everybody on their block, everybody on their auntie's block, and everybody in the community saw them on Video Music Box, and they were like, wow, everybody's watching this.
Right.
They realized that technology and TV and communications and our story was important.
And so many people here, they're saying stuff like Uncle Ralph and the word segment and all the other stuff you did.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of fans here, you know, but also, I look at you on public access. I look at Sesame Street,
Yeah.
PBS. I look at some things where people used to, I mean, when we were young, obviously there was only limited channels, and people would say, oh, well, that's the city broadcasting. I look at Flavor Flav, and Chuck was on that college radio station, wasn't it? That was some weird station.
Delphi.
And Delphi, and you use that platform to really, and I say it publicly, I don't care if you're Diddy or Jay-Z or anybody else, and I'm not going to disrespect them because they are my boys, but either the record label or them, everybody needed or wanted to get onto your platform, and now they are here today where they're at. Congratulations. I think that a lot of them are doing a lot of amazing things, but you use the public access platform that most people would have passed by and said, look at this stuff, right? So it doesn't mean where you're at. It means the content and the value you can provide for people, and I want people to learn that from you.
Yeah. No, it's important to know. Look, you've told me this numerous times. You work with what you have. You may not have access to, the shark. You may not have access to this person or that person, but if you do have access to certain people, go to that, and then use that as the next platform the platform to launch it to someone else, and use those places. So people use Video Music Box to say, hey, I was on Video Music Box. And then, the folks over at BET and MTV might have said, oh, really? We know Ralph. Okay, let's take a look at this. And, and some people made it and some people didn't, but that was at least a talking point to move you to the next level.
Yeah, and so what made people attractive to you when you decided to highlight them? Because you are and you always were the person to end all, right? You would say, I mean, I know Tuffy would bring people to you and other people, but you had to make a decision whether you were going to interview them or not. And I remember I didn't have much money, I had a couple of shirts, and all of my friends and I, we got in a car, we went down to Teddy Riley's, whatever he was doing in Virginia.
Yeah.
And I remember whatever that year was, it was like 1 or 2 years after the Brat, however you say her name, came out. Because I remember you allowed me to stand next to the stage, and I remember seeing her go, baptized in the funk, right next to me. And I was just like, wow, I'm actually here. And I brought down a bunch of shirts, and I think you said something like, if you made an effort to come all the way down here, I'm gonna when we get back, man, maybe we'll set up an interview, because I'm seeing the way people are responding to your stuff. But you gave me a shot, and at that time, I understand clothing right now, if young men and women don't know, at that time it really wasn't being done by too many people from the inner city. If you were doing it, because of the homophobic culture of hip-hop, you would traditionally thought of, because most of the clothing at the time was produced by flamboyant Europeans, gay people, which I have no issue with that, but and that's why I was able to do, because I had no issue. But in a homophobic culture, with a kid who had zero, you allowed me to, highlight my stuff, and you gave me a shot. What was it when you saw it through me or through other young men and women who came up, whether you employed them, what is it that you look for?
For me, with FUBU, I mean, you're unique. You had a great concept, like it was like for us, by us. I had never heard that before, but with other people, I look at something that is, it fits into, it's like music. Does it fit into my playlist? Does it fit into the mood of what we do? And I felt like it fits into the mood of what we do. So if it was, music, if it was dancers, if it was clothing, whatever it was, it fits into what the lifestyle that I felt like Video Music Box was about, and the audience that we broadcast to was about. And I said, I think needs an opportunity, and where else are they going to get an opportunity? You know, so let us begin to just plant seeds. And I remember vividly having a conversation with you, and you were like, I want to meet this person. Like you were focused, you know, like
Yeah.
I need to get it to Diddy. You know, I need to get it to
Yeah.
this person. And I was like, okay, no problem. Let's see what we can do. And, you know, and that with product placement. And you guys were the first to really put product placement in full blast, you know, that I knew anyway. Maybe they
Right.
weren't doing it, but I didn't know that.
Right, right, and that's true about the culture too. It's the great thing that you weave things through because, like I said, your opening scene, the great opening scene of Beauty Music Box. I think it starts off with it's a mixture of an Aha video,
Right.
Bernard Wright video. You mixed hip hop, and I think I mean, listen, I guess it's the first person with an open playlist, and I understand that prior there was just so little of hip hop that was on video, and you mix a lot of stuff. And most of us growing up in our day and age, we love everybody from the Bee Gees to Elton John, all the way to Run DMC and Sugar Hill Gang. But you were always so inclusive of hip hop and this and that. Did at any point people say, "Man, stop playing that other music. It's only about us"? I mean, like, did you ever get any of that? Maybe you probably didn't because you probably set the standard for it.
No, I never got that. You know, people kind of understood that at least the other artists that we were playing, they were cool, you know, and because in the beginning, there weren't a lot of hip hop videos. So, you know, you had to fill in the time. So I would just look at maybe house music or reggae music or some R&B songs or like aha, you know, or, I had a comment. Well, even more than that was I felt like all music was important to us. We can't just listen to black music. We have to listen to all types of music, and that's where we get, and that's what hip hop is. It's a mixture of everything. And I knew that there were not just black people watching my show. There were Asians, there were Latinos, there were folks from India and in Pakistan. You know, that whole mixture of what New York is all about. And I said we have to appeal to everybody. And I tell you a funny story is that I was at a party one time with the group called House of Pain. Remember, Jump Around.
Yeah, the white boys,
And,
hard. They were hard dudes.
yeah, and my boy Black John said, "Look, man, John Bon Jovi's over there, and he wants to meet you." And I was like, "Cut it out, man. There's no way in the world that John Bon Jovi wants to meet." This is hot John Bon Jovi at the time.
Yeah.
So we go through the crowd and the smoke, and everybody's smoking and doing whatever they're doing, and I come through, and here's this guy with all this blonde hair, and he's standing, and he has a smile on his face, and I'm like, "Oh wow." And he says, "Man, look, there's nowhere for me to watch hip hop stuff like you play. They don't play that on MTV. This is the only place that we can get it." So it was kind of like, okay, this is what I do this for, you know. And if he's watching it, who else is watching it, you know? But we always wanted to the base, our core was hip hop and R&B, but we wanted to make sure that we play cool stuff that related to everybody.
A lot of people watching right now are people like you. You're on the forefront for the New York scene, but you could have, and I'm sure that, so many people probably offered you things and places to be like, but you were so much behind the scenes of moving our culture forward. And there's so many people here who are not the Daymond Johns of the world, and they are behind, though, the Daymond Johns of the world, the same way that you were and are behind me. What would you say to those people who are not in the spotlight? People they don't take them for granted. They don't put them up here.
Right.
But yet they don't want to be put up here. I mean, you always have been the one who say, I know you may want to put me up here, but what are we doing for the hood? Like, what are we doing for these people, for our youth, and for the way that we are talking about the culture and various things? What do you say for those people when it gets frustrated and when they get frustrated, they're behind people and they see that some people own, when they know that they're playing the back on purpose, but people may not see the value that they add? Because I'm trying to say it the right way to basically say, like, you've never gotten out of who you are. You've always been true to yourself. What do you say that about all the people here who are parents, who are partners, who are husbands or wives, who have companies, who are letting everybody play the front because they don't want to do it? What do you say to people like that?
It's be true to yourself, at the end of the day, like you're going to have to take some chances. There's going to be some down, you know, some, you're going to hit some walls, and and always aim high. You know, that's one thing that you did, and I learned that from you. And some people didn't. You know, they when they got to that point where they didn't get that distribution deal, or they didn't get that, you know, that account with Macy's, they just stopped. You know,
Yeah.
and, you know, you have to continue to keep on going. And you know, and even with myself, I went to MTV in 1986, before Yo MTV Rap, and said, you guys have to do a hip hop show. And they were like, no, you don't understand, Ralph. The rest of the country is not into hip hop. And I was like, this is 1986. We got Run DMC, we got Eric B and Rakim, we got Slick Rick, we got, it's happening, man. Y'all can jump on it now. And they were like, no, it's not gonna happen. And this is the first time I ever went to like a corporate meeting where I was like adamant about it. Like, no,
Yeah.
and they were like, no, we can't do that. Only New York and LA is into hip hop. And, you know, and I walked away from it and I said, they're wrong. They're completely missing the boat right now. And I said, okay, well, that means that I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. And then, you know, in 1987, they started Yo MTV Raps. And people said to me, well, are you upset about it that it's not you? And I was like, no, because it's good for the culture. It's overall, it's good for me. It's good for the culture. My life is not going to be defined by being on MTV. You know, I come from an independent space. You know, my father owned a candy store, you know, in Spring, in Cambridge Heights, and you know, so we put the papers together. We sold candy. We sold greeting cards. You know, and there was nothing else, and that was it. You know, so I'm used to being in an independent space and being able to do it on my own. And yeah, do we need help? Absolutely. But you know, if we don't have it, we're going to continue to keep on doing what we're doing. And yeah, would I like to have billions of dollars? Oh, absolutely. But more money, more problems. So I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But this is what it's all about, man, is that independent spirit. You have to have that independent spirit, and you'll be all right with it. And your day will come. You know, there's 365 days in a year, and don't stop at 360. You know?
Yeah, right. That's a great way to say it. You know, when I hear about these historic stories of like Bon Jovi and all that, and I think about me growing up in Hollis and seeing Run DMC and all that, and I think about all the times when we reflect on the past and hear about the 60s and 70s and Rolling Stone, Muhammad Ali, and you know, all these Sam Cooke with Jim Brown and all this stuff. I go, wow, I wish I was part of those times. But I got to reflect on something right now. We lost Prince Marky D earlier last week. We lost Prince Marky D last week. And I got to tell you a funny story as I reflect on it. You know, when I was a waiter in Red Lobster, thank God I worked in, you know, in Green Acres Red Lobster, and often I would serve so salt would come in, not salt and pepper, salt. She would always be reading the glasses, like nerdy glasses, reading a book. I would serve LL. I knew him a little bit at the time. I would serve Jam Master Jay. God bless the dead. But it's funny, you know, Marky D always came in, and I didn't really know him that well. And I used to take care of him once in a while, right? And he DM'd me, and I don't know how we had connected, but he DM'd me about a year ago, and I didn't see the DM. I don't really check my DMs as much. And then I responded to it about 12 weeks ago, and I don't think he knew it was me at first. I say, hey, man, I got to tell you, when I was a waiter in Red Lobster, you always treated me with the most respect. You always valued me, and you never talked down to me, and you were one of the biggest stars in the world, you know. And he wrote me back, and I think I'm going to post it one of these days. And I'm really having, you know, a challenge thinking about him not being here. But he wrote back, I always saw greatness in you. And I think that what we can learn from that is that's how you treated me as a young man. And sometimes they say, tell somebody what you want them to live up to be, not anything else, right? If you tell somebody, if we grow up in a community and people say you're dead or in jail by 21, and you keep hearing that enough, you may be dead or in jail by 21. But if you grow up in a community where your parents, like my mother always told me, I saw greatness in you, you are great, and you don't know what greatness will be. You don't know how greatness forms itself. You may be great because you build a great charitable organization. You may save pets or furry friends of ours who can't defend themselves, or you may become a billionaire. That's fine. But I think the lesson I learned from you and Prince Marky D and my mother and so many other people is you instill in the young kids what you want them to be instead of what you think they are. Not because all of us made mistakes as young kids. And if you would have said to me, if listen, I don't know, if Instagram was around when I was 16, I'd be in trouble. You know, and I think that we can learn from that, Ralph. And you're a great teacher of that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that look, I've watched you, and you've made mistakes, and like all of them, nobody's perfect, you know, and I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect, you know, and we've done all of these things over the years, but we've continued to be to walk in the spirit of, you know, okay, let's get it together and let's move forward. And so this is what it's always been about, you know, is that, you know, just always make sure that you understand who you are and that people are watching what you're doing. And now even more because of social media. but you know, you have to be mindful of everything that's going on around you. And like you said, you're like, I remember when I was a kid growing up, and they were like, well, what do you want to be? And I was like, well, one thing I don't want to be is a loser. I can't be a loser. I have to be somebody. And I didn't know what it was, but I have to be somebody. If it's a basketball player, because I played ball, we went to the same high school. We went to Bayside High School. And, you know, or if it's a DJ, you know, or if it's whatever it is, but I have to get off the block because I knew guys that didn't live up to their potential on the block. And right. I said, get off the block and do something. And when people started seeing me do it, and they were like, oh, wow, he said he was going to do that, and he's doing it now. And like, because when all of a sudden Video Music Box came on, people that I grew up with in Brooklyn and in Queens and Queens Village were like, yo, that's Ralph McDaniels. I know him. You know, yeah. I'm pretty sure people said that about, you know, other people that are successful.
Yeah. So I think what's important is get off the block. And get off the block means mentally too, all right? Because a lot of people stuck where they're at right now. They're around the same type of friends, which is not a problem, but unless those friends are really all reaching for the sky in the right way, you staying on the block, you know? Got to get people to get up off the block mentally, physically, and all those type of things. So I'm gonna close it out in a second, Ralph. I want people to know where they can catch you because you know, I had you take over one of my Instagrams, and we should definitely do it in the future. People going on like, what is that? They didn't understand, but I love it because you play a lot of footage that people will never see. Getting a lot of songs. Also, I know that even brands come to you when they like, yeah, we forgot, we don't have those commercials from 30 years ago. Do you have them? But where can they find you? And I know they can also find the old school Video Music Box. I'm wearing Puma. I'm just comfortable right now. Puma is one of my partners. We did a collabo with them. When everybody asked why is it not Puma or Fubu, they supported me. We support them. And by the way, I'm lazy. But I got my Video Music Box shirt. But where can they find you spinning, playing the videos, and all that type of stuff on Instagram? Where can they find you?
You know, I'm playing the videos every Thursday and every Wednesday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Video Music Box. But, you know, more important for me at this time is the Video Music Box collection. I want people to go to check out the videomusicboxcollection.org. And you talked about it in the opening of over 20,000 hours of digitizing and archiving content. And that's our nonprofit. And we want people to support that because that's our history. And over the years, we've lost so much. And you know, you've lost things probably from the FUBU collection that, you know, it's like, oh man, how could we threw that out, Daymond. What?
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about.
When they go to videomusicbox.org, what are they see stuff? What's the opportunity there?
It's a nonprofit. You can get involved. We have events that we do. It's all virtual right now. We have events that we do. You can get involved and support it, you know, because this is our history. And if we don't tell our history, then you'll be looking at it on another platform and they'll be missing and taking things out. You know, people on here probably watch documentaries and they go like, that wasn't quite right. They forgot about this person and they forgot about that person. That's what we're doing. We're putting all of that story together so that people can, you know, can go there and say, oh, this is actually what happened. There's the interview with Daymond John and Keith and Carl and everybody. You know, this is what it's all about. That early interview with Jay-Z or that early interview with Marky D. You know, these are the kind of things that we have at the Video Music Box Collection. It's videomusicboxcollection.org. You can donate, you can give money, you can support it. And the most important thing is that I just hooked up with Howard University. We're going to make that available to their archival, their journalist class. You know, all of the journalists, the next Ralph McDaniels or the next Fab Five Freddy or whoever, the next Daymond John can go and look at a couple of hours of fashion, and see the presentation and go like, oh, wow, okay, I like the way they did that. You know, I'm going to try to use that in my presentation in 2021. Or 100 years from now, it will still be, and it'll still exist for more, because we don't take our own history and our own time as important as I think we should. You know, and I think it's important that we look at, I'm so happy when I can go back and look at old Soul Train. You know,
Yeah.
super happy, you know, and I want people to be happy to look at old Video Music Box or just content in general. So we need to support, you know, it's an ongoing process, 20,000 hours, as you know, because you've been posting all of that, those tapes. And as you get ready for that video music, for that FUBU documentary, I hope we see soon.
Absolutely. It's a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Well, man, Ralph, thank you so much for probably saving my life and the lives of many other people and being just a leader in the community. So many people don't get to see, you know, people like you or talk to people like you when there are millions of people like you on the front line helping us, in your dedication to the culture and to your community and to just everything else. So really appreciate you as always, brother. And that's it, man. I just want to tell you happy Black History Month, and I couldn't find a better way to spend my birthday than talking to a legend and a mentor.
Well, my birthday is Saturday, fellow
That's
Pisces.
right, fellow Pisces. That's right. I was gonna say that. I remembered that, but I was like, nah, maybe I'm making a mistake.
Yeah, you was at them legendary parties at the bar. I seen you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot that I was there because I probably was having such a great time.
Hey, I'm getting ready to go live myself, so come on over to Video Music Box. I'm going to be with the legendary DJ Hurricane from the Hollis Crew.
Ooh, when you going? When?
3 o'clock, 3 p.m.
Okay, I'm on a call then, but I may come over. I may pop up by 3:30. How long are you on that?
We'll be on for an hour. I'm sorry, not at Video Music Box, at Queens Library, because we work with Queens Library, and so we'll be on the at QPL NYC. I'm going to put it up right now. I'm sorry to.
Okay, no problem.
But come on over, because that's also part of our Black History Month celebration. And thank you for doing this and celebrating, you know, of course, Black History Month. And Black History Month is everybody's month. So come on in.
Right. Absolutely.
Black history is American history. So come on in. Don't feel like it's just for Black people.
No. Most people, they have common sense. Absolutely. They know Black History Month is about everybody. Just like you go and you celebrate every beautiful culture in this amazing country of ours. That's what makes us so great. Don't let the negative shit get to anybody.
That's right.
All right, Ralph. Love you, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Peace. Trying to exit, Ralph. Let me see. How do I exit? I think you got to hang up. There you go. All right, there you have it. I can't even tell you enough about Ralph, but hopefully, you know, this is not about me just having the conversation with Ralph and you not taking away the valuable nuggets that you can learn. I love that. Get off the block. You know, whether you are talking to a loved one about, you know, any way that they are thinking and they're not getting out of their own way. Basically, it means go out and educate yourself, move around, speak to other people, see other people, get more information out there. That's probably one of the reasons why I've had the opportunity to keep growing as a person. Also, another thing is, remember, tell those young people in your lives, or even not even young, whoever, right, what greatness they can be by saying you are great. Remember, I think there was some kind of stat that said a child will hear the word no like 3,000 times comparison to how many times they hear the word yes. And why? Because naturally, don't play with that. Can I eat this? No. That's what we do as parents, right? Or 300 times, excuse me, to everyone, yes. So remember that, right? We get programmed with no. Can't be done. You can't do it. You're a failure. You're this. You're that. and even as challenged as I was with scholastics in school, my mother still made me feel like I was meant for greatness. And I know that it's very hard as parents during the course of a day when you have so many things to juggle, so much pressure, so much this and that, to step aside from disciplining your child because you don't want them to grow up to be the worst person ever. And you want to discipline them, but on the flip side, it's hard to remember how to reward them. We are all human, and those are the things that we can all learn from. I need to do it more for my own child. I think so. It is extremely important to take away these small nuggets. And even if I got you to say no a little, yet a little less, and yes a little more, or not no, just maybe not at this time. Can we do it later? Or how can you earn that? I think that maybe those are a couple of ways that you could adjust that delivery when it's hard as hell. So I know it's hard. It's easy for me to sit here and talk crap like it's easy, but I know it's very hard. But anyway, I hope you learn from seeing Mr. Ralph McDaniels. I hope you go and support his efforts and what he's doing. True legend, true staple to the community and pillar in the community. And I appreciate all you. And I will talk to you later. And thank you for all the really great birthday wishes. And all the best. Bye.